Hello my cosmic dragon friends, and welcome to this reading for the 777 portal. And yes, I'm calling it that. I'm referring to the 7th of July this year and for the rest of the year, for the next 6 months from July to December 2023. So if you haven't seen my reading for the whole of 2023, I will post a link to that above so you can go and check that out. And there is a pick a card there as well for your themes for this year, for your big themes that you need to be looking at. So we're just going to have a little bit of an update here. We're going to have a look at the second half of the year because obviously lots of things have happened, and it's always good to get another look as time goes on so that we can be clearer as to what's happening, what's coming on our path, so that we can make good decisions moving forwards, because as we know, nothing is set in stone when it comes to the future. Okay, so what we're looking at here is the energies, the tendencies, the possibilities, the likelihood of what energy is coming up, what we can expect, and how we can best capitalize on that. My readings are all about empowering you so you can make the best decisions. I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. No one should. Okay, that has to be your decision. So I've got an array of crystals here. I've got my big rose quartzes back in for this one too. That is my crystal this year, rose quartz, that I've recommended to everyone. I've also brought in two big gold pillar candles. I don't know how well you can see them. Let's see if I can just tip that up so you can see them. There we go. I wanted to bring in this very warm gold colour right now. It felt really, really important as we're moving towards 7/7, the 7th of July. Very, very interesting energy coming up, and my guides kind of gave me a nudge to do this video today. So we're going to start out just by having a look. I want to look at the 7/7 energy specifically to start with, and the reason I call it 7/7/7 is because we are numerologically in a number 7 year, 2023, 2 plus 2 plus 3. Obviously the 0 doesn't add anything, although it is there, and it is important to remember it's there because it brings in huge potential whenever there's a 0. Brings in 7/7/7 energy, so we are very much working in the energy of the mystic. I think this year's energy will be heightened and magnified around July 7th. I think that's really going to be a date to look out for, and sort of the 3-4 days around that portal as well. There's going to be a lot of spiritual information coming through. We're already getting a lot of that at the moment. The Schumann resonance has been spiking, hasn't it, doing crazy things. Apparently there's a big sunspot or something going on at the moment. I've certainly been feeling some physical effects, not necessarily knowing where they were coming from. I've been very tired, fatigued. Some of you might have been feeling that, or having ringing in your ears, strange things going on. My cat's been very tired too. He didn't ask for his breakfast until lunchtime, which is very unusual for him. He doesn't normally let me get away with not feeding him. He's normally, right on it, demanding his food. But he didn't want it. He just went to sleep. He was exhausted. He was absolutely exhausted, and he went straight to bed instead of demanding that I go to the kitchen with him and biting my legs, because he's nice like that. So we're going to have a look first of all at July 7th. Let's take a look at the energy of this portal, what's coming up, because it feels like a big one. And you guys know I usually make videos, well, I have done in the past on my Angel Wings Holistics channel, which is my original channel, for July 7th, but more so for the 8th of August, which is the 8/8 Lionsgate portal, which normally feels more significant to me, but the 7/7 portal feels very significant this year as well. There's a very strong sun theme coming through here, connected to sun, to its electromagnetic vibration, energy. I don't fully understand those words, so I apologise. You guys know this comes through me, not from me. Some of the words kind of tumble out of my mouth and I don't totally understand them, so bear with me. So yeah, there's cards coming out already. There's connection here definitely with off-planet, outer planets as well. The outer planets. So the outer planets are, astrologically speaking at least, Pluto, Neptune, Saturn, Jupiter, Uranus. Yeah, there's a connection to the outer planets, I'm just being told. Okay, that's interesting. All right. Okay, another crystal I've got here, this one is blue goldstone. As you can see, it's blue and it's very, very shiny. It's very pretty. This is a man-made crystal. It's the blue version of this one, which is regular goldstone, which is brown. And it's sometimes called the astrologer's stone, and I wanted to bring this one in here. If you can see, this side of this crystal almost looks like a running polar bear. I don't know if you can see that. It's like his little head and his paw, his leg there, and his shoulder. So if you can see see the polar bear, That's how it looks to me. So I do feel very strongly a connection with Ursa Major for this particular crystal, this particular stone, and that one wanted to come out today, so that could be relevant to someone. We also have this crystal. This is actually this is angelite, I think. Yes, angelite, or is it celestite? I can't remember. It's one of my angel crystals. Somebody will correct me, I'm sure, in the comments. But this could be celestite, actually. But that one wanted to come out too. There's a real sort of turquoise energy coming out with the gold as well. So I'm getting gold and turquoise, which is interesting because the deck I was told to use is this one. And I'm just noticing, of course, it's turquoise and gold. I'm a bit slow sometimes. My guides always get there before me. And the ring I'm wearing as well, I've got blue opals and, what is that? Tanzanite. So let's take a look at the 7-7 portal, see what's happening here, see what the energy is doing. Oh, wow, this is beautiful. Oh, what a lovely message. So we've got 42-6, the Otter Spirit, You're Never Alone, and 68, 14-5, Wombat Spirit, Be at Home. Oh, that's really beautiful. These are very reassuring cards, very reassuring. A lot of reassurance coming into the collective here, I think, for anyone who's feeling afraid, alone, out of sorts, that they don't fit in, they don't belong. It's almost like a big hug. It's a very cuddly energy coming through here from spirit, from your spirit guides. There's a huge amount of reassurance, and I feel this is going to be the theme for the 7-7-7 portal, and suddenly my voice has gone a bit slow and a bit gentle. That's the energy. It's slowing down, it's gentle, it's cradling us, and I feel this is coming from the sun. This is coming from Solaris. Solaris, okay, interesting use of words. The sun's energy is cradling us, taking care of us at this time, sending us a huge amount of love. And look at this wombat has this jewel here, which looks very much like the sun discs that we see in the ancient Egyptian imagery, but it's a green crystal here, so it's the heart. So it's the heart of the sun that's speaking to us at the moment, and I mean it's heart. It's metaphysical heart. Its heart chakra, the heart chakra of the sun, is what is sending its love to us, its support, reminding us that yes, we do belong here, everything is okay, and that we are safe. There's a feeling of safety here very strongly with the Otter Spirit, very loving energy coming through, very safe, loving energy. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay, I'm getting a connection to King Solomon here as well, and I don't know that particular Bible story particularly well. I know that's strongly connected to certain magics as well, and higher magics, and these candles are actually 6-pointed stars. So there's that too, which I didn't realise when I picked them in the shop. I just bought a whole bunch of funky candles in the sale, you know, after Christmas. There's a King Solomon connection, so that could be a connection to higher magic for some people, or to very, very deep mysticism. It's a very deep mystical energy, which shouldn't be surprising really, because it's 777. 7's the number of the mystic. You know, it is the number of deeper spiritual study, awakening, experimentation, growth, expansion, meditation, spiritual abilities, awakening. You know, it's all of that. It comes with the less balanced aspect of it, which is we can fall into dogma, we can believe we're better than the next person, we can be very judgmental, standoffish, set ourselves apart from the rest of humanity. So there is this reminder here that we are still a part of the whole, even if we're starting to feel like we're not. And I know that's the case for many people. It's certainly something I've been aware of in myself as well, feeling almost like you don't belong with the rest of the world. Not that you don't belong in this world, but it's almost like you're no longer quite existing in the same vibration. It's like your vibration is changing to a point where when you talk to other people, it's almost like you're a different species. You feel like you're talking to a different species, people from a different planet. And that is actually true in some way, because as we raise our vibration, those of us who are doing that, and not everyone's doing it, okay, some people are going in the opposite direction right now. And that's okay, that's their choice, but it will feel more and more like we're pulling apart. Almost like the earth is pulling into two different separate versions of itself, and energetically that is correct. Well, we're moving into a higher vibration of the Earth's energy. We are moving into a higher creation of the Earth's energy because we are creating it as we go. This is not something that existed prior to us getting to it, because it can't exist unless we are there. Okay, so it's that old adage of, you know, if a tree falls in the forest, did it make a sound if no one was there? And I'm going to say no, it didn't. No, it didn't. It's this kind of philosophical question of the new energy that we're moving into. The new world will exist as we move into it. As we move into it, and again, that gives credence in some respect, I think, to the theory that this is a big 3D video game, you know, and things appear in front of us as we move forwards. And I do think that's the case. It's fascinating, isn't it? Very interesting being here. 33, oh lovely. Horse spirit, freedom is yours. But with 33 as well, this is the Christ consciousness. Okay, this is the divine energy that we are all asked to learn how to embody at this time. We are asked to learn. We don't have to learn it, we don't have to do it, we don't have to embody the Christ consciousness if we don't want to. And I believe that's the true second coming of the Christ, is where humanity lifts themselves up and learns how to embody that energy, how to be loving of one another, how to see each other as aspects of God, you know, as Mother Teresa would have said, as Jesus Christ in all of his disgusting disguises, or his hideous disguises. Not everyone's hideous, I know. But seeing even the quote-unquote worst of humanity, understanding who they are, what they are. And that is noticeable at the moment. And it's a learning curve too, because there was a story I saw recently where someone was attacking this man in the park, waving a knife around, threatening him and his family. And he got really upset. You know, he called the police because he was frightened. Then he got really upset that they wanted to arrest him. And to me, that raises the question of, is this person experiencing this new energy of seeing other people as their divine self, as the higher aspect of them, and wanting them to be treated well, not wanting them to be punished or harmed? And I think there is an element of that in that story. I think there's an element of that in there. Even if the individual involved wasn't aware of it, or may have found that energy very confusing, I do think that's what's happening at the moment. It's just the way it's playing out because of the way our world is set up at the moment, because it is very much, very dualistic, very much, you know, black and white. It is this realm of duality that we're in, and it is duality that we're learning to deal with at the moment. But I do think we're going to see more of this. And it's like when people say, oh, you know, we shouldn't have police anymore, we should have social workers, you know, we should be trying to help people. And I do believe that is a manifestation. It's one of the first manifestations of people experiencing this energy, this energetic shift, thinking, no, we shouldn't be hurting people, we shouldn't be harming them, we should be helping them, supporting them, uplifting them. And we're in the messy stage. And I've said this many times before. It's messy. We're in the messy stage. We're in the sandpit right now. You know, we talk about developing computer games, or computer games where you can just create and try things, as being sandbox games. We're in the sandbox right now. That's what's happening. We're experimenting with this new energy. We're trying to work out what it is, how it makes us feel, how it works, what we can do with it. And yes, there's lots of trial and error involved, and lots and lots and lots of error. Okay, lots of error. And sometimes it will look like a mess, and people will say, see, you stupid idiot, we should have done it the old-fashioned way, we should have beaten the pulp out of him, you know, and and that's not the way either. Okay, but we haven't quite found that new path. And I don't want to say correct path, because I don't think there's any right or wrong in the grander spiritual sense of things, but there is a new path, and we have not found it yet. We're just going through the really messy phase where things get a little bit crazy. Oh, okay. Okay. Dolphin spirit number 20, this and that are true. Yes, and there's a reminder here that two things can be true at once. Two things can be true at once. And this is, I think, where a lot of the conflict is coming from this decade, this millennium. We are in number 2 energy, heavy number 2 energy, which you guys know I'm a numerologist. Number 2 is about polarities, but polarity doesn't have to mean opposition. Okay, polarities can understand each other. they can meet in the middle, but they can also understand and respect each other for what they are. So I think this is part of the awakening of the 777 portal. Part of the gift that we're being given is being able to understand another person's point of view and being okay with them having that other point of view, because there's a lot of conflict at the moment about people having different opinions and refusing to accept that, which is ridiculous, because you will drive yourself mad if you won't accept that someone else has a different opinion to you. Be the complete opposite opinion specifically. This is right, no, that's right. You know, it's that ridiculous dress all over again. Is it gold and white or is it blue and black? It was gold and white, people. Okay, but I didn't get involved because it was ridiculous. But and in some ways, I think I saw it for what it was at the time. I saw that it was very divisive, and I didn't want to get in on that divisive energy. I didn't want to argue with people for no reason. That's not who I am. I don't like arguing. I enjoy debate, but arguing doesn't get you anywhere unless you're actually trying to understand the other person's point of view. If you're literally just trying to beat them down so that they agree with you, or until they agree with you, or threaten them, or hurt them, or injure them, or silence them so that they can no longer disagree with you, then you're in a losing battle already, because that's not going to get you into the energy you want to be in. Okay, because that other person isn't going to cease to exist. That other energy isn't going to cease to exist just because you told them they can't. Okay, even if you kill them, and that would be a very, very extreme reaction, but even so, you would not have made that energy cease to exist. Okay, so that's what I want to talk about for the 777 portal. It's okay, we are okay. And I think for some people this is more of a coming together. The request here is that we do accept other people for who they are. And I mean everyone except everyone else. Okay, this isn't about, well, this group is special and they say everyone else has to do that for them. Or this group over here says you're not allowed to do this. Yeah, we've had enough of that. We don't do that anymore. We're moving into the age of Aquarius, into an age of true freedom. And human beings, for the most part, don't know how to deal with that. They do not know how to cope with freedom. They don't know how to carry that level of responsibility and the level of wisdom that is required to thrive in true freedom. We think we want it, but most people don't. Most people genuinely don't. They just want a little teensy bit more, a little tiny bit more. But I feel like the 777 portal brings in a lot of reassurance that this freedom is okay, that the future is safe, that we are okay, that we will have the freedom that we need to express ourselves, to be who we truly are. Yeah, and that conflict is just not necessary, because when you are truly at home in yourself, you know that conflict with the other is not necessary, because the person in front of you is, at the end of the day, they're going to be a mirror for you. They are going to mirror the aspects of yourself that you like or that you don't like. Okay, and if someone upsets you, someone triggers you in some way, they are showing you an unhealed aspect of yourself. Otherwise it wouldn't trigger you, it wouldn't upset you. And of course, yes, we all have lots and lots and lots and lots of healing work to do, insofar as we all have unhealed aspects of self, because otherwise we'd be living in perfect bliss. We'd be living in the state of the Buddha. We would be in more of a state of enlightenment. And we're not. The vast majority of us, there may be one or two on Earth right now that are, but they are in a very small minority. But that is energetically what we are working towards. That is, and the reminder is going to be coming through on the 7-7 portal. The reminder there, you know what? We are actually all one. Everything's okay. It's all going to be okay. We can stop fighting. Two things can be true at once. Two things can be true at once. That's very important. 28 frog spirit, clear out the clutter. Oh, okay. And 14 chameleon spirit, act as if. So we have an amphibian and a reptile joining us here. Interesting. To go with our mammals. Okay. Act as if, clear out the clutter. Yeah. I want to say mostly emotional clutter, but this could be literally clearing out your cupboards. It would be a very, very good time to have a bit of a declutter of clutter of your wardrobe, your kitchen, your home, your garage, your car. Some people let rubbish build up in their car. They have all kinds of crap in there. I don't know how they do it, but I can't stand having things in my car. I have to have it tidy. Yes, there is a nudge here, but there's also a nudge, I want to say, to clear out some of your spiritual crap as well. And I don't mean you've got too many packs of oracle cards, because God knows I've got 50 plus, but that's not what I mean. I mean inside ourselves. It's time to let go of some old beliefs that don't serve, some old dogmas that don't serve, and maybe just open the window for new ideas, even if we don't know what they are yet. Very often, I think we can come to a realization that a certain dogma or spiritual rule that we've been taught isn't quite right. Or maybe we sense it, maybe it bothers us, it irks us a little bit, and we think, that doesn't really work for me, it's not quite right, but I don't know what is right. But that's okay. All we have to do at this time in 7/7 is just open the window. Be prepared for the new knowledge to come in, because it will. We'll just be open to receive the new spiritual lesson, the new higher spiritual lesson, because we are growing. We're like children. We're moving up to the next grade now. You know, we're moving up to the next class. And I want to say it's okay to not know at this time. And not knowing is a very scary feeling. But for me here, there's a very strong sense of being unknowing, of not knowing, of feeling kind of like a novice, of feeling ignorant, and that's okay. With 28-10-1 energy, that is the beginning of a new cycle. It is being reminded that we are in this realm of polarity. Like I keep saying, this is a realm of duality that we live in. We are in very strong number 2 energy, and that's okay. That doesn't have to end. We just have to grow out of it and move on to another part of this huge multidimensional universe, or multiverse, or whatever this is. Okay, computer game, 3D video game. That's okay. I feel like the world doesn't need to change, we do. I mean that on an individual level. The world doesn't need to change, we do, and then the world will be different for us. I want you to really hear that. If we want to change the world outside of us, we have to change the inner world, and it will change, or it will appear to change for us, for our individual experience. That may not be the case for others, but that is how vibrationally we move into different realities. Okay, it's very subtle, but that's how it works. Act as if, yes, I feel it's this novice energy. Well, I don't really know this, but it's okay. I'm going to do my best. There's certainly an energy here with the chameleon of trying to keep the balance with 14-5. Obviously, we have to work with the conscious mind. We still have to go to work. We still have to earn money. We have jobs. We pay rent, mortgage, whatever, food bills. But there is this sense of playing a part and being aware now that we're playing a part in this system that we live in, this system in this world that was set up very much to ensnare us. I think to keep humanity small, to keep us lowly, to ensnare us by people who might call themselves elites, who've been in charge for a long time, and there are certain bloodlines and families, etc. And I'm sure you've heard about such things. But energetically, that's very much what's happening, but it's almost like we have to pretend we're still a part of that at the moment, although we know we're not. We're evolving out of it. So some of us may literally feel like frauds at the moment. And that's what I was saying about feeling like you're talking to people from a different species when you're talking to people that aren't on your level spiritually. It's going to become so noticeable over the next 4 or 5 years that it will feel quite strange talking to people who are not moving forwards, who are not doing their spiritual work, who are not doing their healing work, who are not following the nudges of their soul, who are ignoring it and going, no, that's all a load of rubbish. You go to work and then you die and that's it. Okay. Yeah, it's going to feel very strange for us. And it's good though, because the scales are falling from our eyes very much at this time. Very much the scales falling from our eyes. It's such a time of revelation. Oh. Fascinating to see, but we are anchoring these new energies now in very concrete ways. So I want to say for the next 6 months and beyond, I want to say for the next 5 years actually, we're going to see actual changes start to happen on Earth, physical changes start to manifest on Earth, not being done by the people necessarily, but the Earth doing them herself, the sky, the sun, the stars, other aspects of this natural world, for want of a better word, for the animals, the plants, making their own changes because they're growing too. And I was saying this in my 2023 reading, you know, our planet, our Earth is going through changes herself. At the beginning of the year, I predicted movements of the tectonic plates, earthquakes, volcanoes. It's happening. We're seeing it. Okay. Things are happening at the moment. Things are growing. Things are changing. And your only job is to just learn to be okay within yourself. And that involves heart healing. So whether it's a need to heal from trauma, from abuse, from the world. Okay, sometimes just from how we were brought up, the society we were brought up on, the fact that we've lived in a madhouse this whole time. You know, we basically live in a lunatic asylum. Okay, when you look at society, how it's set up, how it's not very nice for human beings. You know, when people say this is a prison planet, they're not wrong. That's how it is when you look at it in an objective sense. That really is how it can be. But it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be for you. It's difficult to break out of. And I'm not saying you have to break out of that and go and live in a cabin in the woods, much as that might be nice, because most people can't do that. But the changes are happening, so I feel it won't feel so much like a prison anymore moving forward. So I hit my camera. It won't feel so much like that. The reassurance is there. We will see things so clearly. 43.7. So here comes the wisdom, this ground golden crown on this beautiful snowy owl here. I want to say with the snowy owl, he says, owl spirit, you see clearly now, but there's the purity of his beautiful white feathers, his gorgeous crown, him receiving this wisdom from the higher realms. He's standing on the column, the pillar of the temple. Here he is, this new spirituality coming in, so much information coming in, so much grounded golden information. This is golden information. That's the word I'm being given. So 43.7. I think that one came up quite a lot in my 2023 reading. I didn't do a 2003 reading. YouTube wasn't a thing back then. I don't know where that came from. Maybe there's a connection to 2003. So like I always say, if you make a mistake in a reading, there could be a reason for that. So go with it. 43.7. So the blueprint here is changing the reality. 3 is changing 4. 3 is influencing 4. 3, the blueprint, the divine blueprint, the design for life is influencing our physical 3D reality now. That's exciting. That's very exciting. Okay, so let's bring in the Romance Oracle. Let's just take a look here. Those cards want to come in. We'll have a little bit of a look. The influence that's going to have on our romantic life, our relationships. Okay. Sweets, chocolates and roses on 15. What do you want on 61? And commitment ... 30. I'm just going to take 3 of... Oh, you want to come out, do you? Soulmate, soul contract on 22. Oh, okay. And that one too. Right. You know how you think you're finished with the cards and they go, no, there's a couple more you need to take. Okay, so Soulmate, soul contract on 22.4. Wisdom experience on 44.8. Now this is interesting. This is very, very interesting. We are strongly being asked to commit to our spiritual future here. I think the words I'm getting is that our relationships are an expression of our spiritual journey as well. They are an expression of our spiritual self, of our soul. We experience a lot through our relationships, romantic and otherwise, romantic, platonic, friendships, you know, soul family, actual family, all sorts of relationships. Romantic specifically highlights more strongly here, but this could apply to any relationships. Sweets, chocolates and roses, that's so old-fashioned, and it's like we're leaving that in the past now. The old way of doing relationships, or here I bought you some chocolates and some roses, will you go out with me? You know, we're moving beyond that now because we are committing to soul in a new way. We are committing to a new way of being, a new way of existing, a new energy right now. And I think that's going to make our romantic relationships look different. There could be a push towards some sort of commitment for some people, which could be a marriage, a partnership, an agreement, a deeper commitment. But it feels more spiritual than that because there are a lot of soulmates coming together right now. Now, a soulmate isn't necessarily a romantic relationship, okay? Not necessarily. It could be a friendship, could be a family member. All right, it's not necessarily romantic with a soulmate. It can be. But there are some soul contracts being highlighted here, like come on, the soulmate's been in your life for a long time. It may be the moment to get married. Stop putting it off. You need to move forwards now. You need to move forwards on your path, because it feels like it's kind of piss or get off the pot, basically, for some people. Yeah. It's like, what do you actually want? Okay. You're not lacking in experience. I feel for some people that there's been relationships that's been around for a long time that are either just suddenly going to break apart or go to the next level, because something has to happen. You can't leave it as it is. Things need to be tied up. Loose ends need to be tied up. Okay, the next step has to be taken. Whichever direction you choose to go is fine. But you must take it. Okay, so wisdom and experience on 44-8. Yeah. Yeah, it's quite a pushy energy. Quite a pushy energy. I feel like certain relationships are kind of coming to their time right now. I don't want to say expiration date or expiry. That's not what I mean. It's almost like the bell's about to go. You know when you're cooking something and you've got a timer and the timer is about to run out. The timer is about to ring. The timer is about to ring on a lot of relationships right now. Okay, the timer is about to ring. The bell's about to go. Okay, and that doesn't mean that you throw away the cake that you've just put in the oven. You get the cake out and you eat it at that point. You don't throw it away. Okay, or if it's burnt, you do throw it away. But it's going to be piss or get off the pot. You have to do something. Okay. Change has to happen, but do it because you want to, not because you think you have to. Because I feel like a lot of people really know better. They really do. Okay. So, let's take a look at the Spirit Message Oracle, see what we've got here. No mud, no lotus on number 3. Yeah. Are you aiming too low? 28, 10, 1. So there's another 28 over here. 28, 10, 1. So change. We are all unique and we are all one. Yes. Remember who you are. I am on 11, 2. Yes, yes, yes. This is the energy coming through. Be silent. I had that card for the beginning of the year as well. That one definitely came out. Be silent. So there is a nudge here to go into meditation, to deepen your spiritual practice, to make sure you are connecting and communicating with your guides, that you're not forgetting that, to spend some time in silence every day, in prayer, however you like to do it. It's fine. No mud, no lotus. Every master was once a disaster. Okay, we don't start out being perfect. Absolutely not. We have many experiences we go through. A lot of them aren't very nice. We have things called failures, breakups, divorces, and again, I'm not just talking about relationships, I'm talking about all aspects of life, okay? And the things that you went through are what brought you here. They are what helped you to design your blueprint for the next phase of your life. If you hadn't been through them, you wouldn't know what you know now. And this wisdom card at the top here, I just want to bring that back in here. Wisdom and experience. You know so much more now than you did when you were born, okay? Than when you were a child, when you were younger, in teenage years, in your 20s, in your 30s, however old you are, okay? And there is this powerful remembrance coming through here, like I was saying with the 777 energy, remembering who you are, remembering that we're all one. Okay, and genuinely not wishing to harm the other person, not wishing for another person to be harmed. Okay, and when that happens, we can fall into the trap of actually hurting a third person because we don't want this other person to be harmed. Okay, but that third person's you as well. That third person's one with you as well. Okay, and that's where we get to the more difficult, more complex spiritual lessons that we still are working out at the moment. We haven't quite worked those out yet. Are you aiming too low? Yes. I feel there are some big shifts in people's lives coming with the 7-7 portal, but also with the second half of the year. I think people are suddenly going to wake up and go, hang on, why have I been doing this all my life? I should be earning a lot more money than this, or I should be much more appreciated than this. And there could be this urge to make quite a big change when it comes to money, career, how you live your life, where you live, what you have, what you experience. It's a very interesting energy, and it comes in quite fast because there's an arrow on this card as well. It's putting yourself first, but in good ways. Okay, so there is this nudge to put yourself first in good ways, and understanding that when you do that, when you do put yourself first in good ways, you are helping other people too, because we're all one at the end of the day. So when you pull yourself up, you're pulling other people's energy up with you, as long as you're not standing on them to do it. Okay. So that's another key point. So let's bring out the money oracle, because I do want to go into money and career here. So, money oracle. The universe is vast and generous. Abundance frequency. Yes, 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 yes. More money coming in. 38, 37. Yes. It may feel in some ways like you've done some aspects of your life or your career the wrong way round, especially if you're like one of the younger generations. You may feel like you've had to do things the wrong way round and you're just catching up now because maybe there were adverse experiences in your younger life, and so you're having to catch up now with things that other people did in previous generations when they were like in their 20s. Okay, so that's definitely a theme. And that's okay. You know, now is the time to catch up. I feel like you have the opportunity to make some changes in your life because you're already abundant. Make it happen. Make it happen. You can do this. You can bring in the changes. You can go back to school. You can get the degree. You can do the course. You can do the new job, change the career. You know, go and live on a small holding on a little farm if that's what you want to do. It's fine. Yes, it's definitely time for change, but it's time to make it happen. So a lot of doors are going to be opening for us. The opportunity is going to be appearing from the 777 portal and the wisdom to actually do it. I feel the opportunity was always there, but an opportunity doesn't exist in our reality if we can't see it. We have to be able to see it, and to be able to see it, we have to be energetically aligned to it. Otherwise, we will be blind to it. We will be absolutely blind to it, almost like when you cast a glamour spell so that someone doesn't see you. Okay, right. So we're going to bring in the Messenger Oracle now. Whoops, because some of these want to come in just to get a little bit of advice for the 777 portal. So, seek the lesson, 35-8. 28, another 28, so that's a key number. That's some key numerology coming in here. That's the third 28 that we've got from 3 different decks. Make the sacrifice, 27. What is it that you need to let go of so that you can move on? Is it a belief? Is it a thought pattern? Is it a habit? Is it a thing? Is it a person? Is it a bad relationship? Is it and a negative relationship doesn't have to be a romantic one. You know, is it a job? Is it a thought about yourself that holds you back? Something needs to be let go of. Something needs to be sacrificed to take the next step, but in a good way. That this isn't about, you know, oh, I'm going to sacrifice 2 doves to Aphrodite. No, that's not what I'm getting at here. Something needs to be let go of because you can't hold everything at once. You're spinning too many plates. So many of us are spinning too many plates at the moment, and we have been for a very, very long time. This is a very difficult era to live in. I've said that before. It's such a difficult era to live in. We're all spinning too many plates. What do you actually need? Need and necessity. What is it that you need, and what can you let go of? What are you doing for the sake of it? What are you doing because you think you have to? What are you doing because your mum said you had to do it, or because your family expects it of you, or because your church expects it from you, or because you said you would do it for some reason and now you're just doing it forevermore? Okay, you can change things. You can let go of what no longer serves. And there's a bit of a sigh of relief that comes with that energetically as well. There is a sigh of relief. There's a, oh, thank goodness I don't have to do that anymore. Oh, phew, I'm exhausted. And there's this exhaustion that comes through as well. There is a collective exhaustion today, and I'm going to yawn. Oh, does this feel? Oh, sorry. Collective exhaustion that I'm feeling today. What's today? Today is actually the 30th of June as I'm filming this. End of June. Schumann Resonance is doing some stupid things right now. But, I say stupid, it's not stupid. But it is doing some things. It's making us very, very tired. But we're exhausted. We've been doing too much. This modern world makes us do too much, too fast, too soon, all at once. It's too much. And so we can end up achieving very little that we actually want because we're trying to spin 100 plates at once. And this is so true of us. And that's one of the key differences for the eras that came before us, the generations that came before us. They didn't have all of these things to do all at once. It was quite straightforward. They had a little bit of peace and quiet and rest in between things. Things weren't necessarily easy, but they only had to focus on one thing. You know, when you were growing up, you had, if you were a man specifically, you had one job, one career, that was it. You had a job for life. Or you had this one thing that you did, and that was the thing that you did your whole life. There was no expectation on you to retrain 6 times, change job every 3 years, stay up to date with the latest software. Software wasn't a thing. Computers weren't a thing. You know, it was just, here's a hammer, get on with it. Our lives are so complicated right now. It's awful. It's so difficult. And it's a double-edged sword because, yes, it enables us to have access to information, but in many ways it doesn't improve our lives. It may improve productivity, but that's not the same as our lives. You don't live to be productive. Your boss probably thinks you do, but we don't live to be productive. The elites think we do because they see us as their minions that they can just push around, boss around. But increasing production doesn't mean increasing joy. Increasing productivity doesn't mean increasing happiness or well-being. It usually means the reverse. So what is the lesson here? What is it that the 777 portal is teaching you specifically? That's what I want you to consider, to think about as you plan for the next phase of your life moving forwards, as you look at your 1-year plan, your 5-year plan, your 10-year plan. If you don't have one, this could be a nudge to make it. It doesn't have to be complicated. You can just write down the things you'd like to achieve. Maybe you'd like to earn $100,000 a year. Maybe you'd like to live in a house in the woods. That keeps coming up. That must be something I want. But I'd love to, live in a house with some woodland, and it'd be lovely. Grow vegetables. And it may not. The reminder is it may not look exactly how we're expecting it to. And that's one of the things as well with manifesting and with working with the law of attraction. Of course, we do manifest our own lives. That's inevitable. That's how it works. If you haven't read my book on the law of attraction, I will link that below for you. That is, what am I doing with my hand? Here. Here, there we go. My book is about the law of attraction. It's called Dream Bigger, How the Law of Attraction Really Works. So see if that helps you. Check it out. Yeah, but we do create our reality insofar as we get to choose the what, but we don't get to choose what it looks like. So we can choose the what, but not the how. Okay, a higher aspect chooses the how. The universe chooses the how, and that's okay. So we're just going to do a pick a card now. We're going to have a look for this 777 portal, but I do want to talk about the next 6 months as well. I do want to talk about that. And I did already mention that I have already looked at the next 6 months a little bit in my solstice reading, which I actually wrote as a blog on my website, angelwingsholistics.com, which I will link to in the notes below, so in the description below, so that you can go and read that, because I was actually away when that came through, so I wasn't able to make it into a video because I had nothing to hold my phone and it would have been all shaky and terrible. So we're going to take a look. Yeah, we're going to have 4 different piles to choose from. I'm going to put these away. And the decks that we are going to use, the Sacred Forest Oracle, which is my newest deck. We're going to use this one. The cards want to come out of the box. There we go. Okay. And we're going to use Dragon Wisdom as well, which I'll get out in just a second. So if you just tune in, everyone tune in. Okay, so it doesn't matter that you're not watching this live because energy is energy. So we're going to pick 5 piles, I'm being told. We're going to have 5 to choose from today. All right. So see which pile you are going to be drawn to. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we're going to bring in a dragon card for everyone. This is the Dragon Wisdom. Okay, just a little message for the 777 portal, for our spiritual journey, for the next phase of our lives, because this feels like quite a big turning point, and I think I said that in the solstice reading as well. This is quite a big deal. It's like the energy gets bigger every time. Gets bigger every time, gets more important every time as time goes on, as our lives move on in this particular reality, this incarnation. There we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to get some charms for 1 to 5 as well. So I'm going to pick these without looking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Right, then 1 we have an anchor, 2 we have a heart, 3 we have a running horse, 4 we have another anchor with a rope, and 5 is 2 hearts entwined. Okay, so we could have some connections between 2 and 5 and 1 and 4. So if you pick one of those, you might feel you want to pick the other one as well, because you can pick as many as you want to watch. That's absolutely fine. So take a moment and we'll have a look at them one by one. Okay, so let's dive in with card pile number 1. We have our little anchor here. Very cute little anchor. And I do want to talk about anchoring and feeling anchored with this one, and with that one as well. There is an element of anchoring, but I also want to say I feel like you're somebody who is here to help anchor the new energies into this reality. I feel like part of your path, part of your spiritual path, is to help bring in the new world. So you could be someone who identifies as a light worker, a spiritual worker, a healer, somebody that helps people, a coach, you know, someone who helps people to reach their potential, to go to the next level, whatever that is in their lives. So that feels important for you. So our cards, we have Pure Spirit, Purification, which is number 30. That's lovely. And Scars, purple. So we've got a bit of a pinky purple theme going on here, which is interesting. So I feel like the things that you learned, the scars that you bear, that you've earned over the years, are what help you to actually help other people. I feel you're somebody who's learned from difficult experiences, and it's your difficult experiences that are actually your gift, much as I'm sure it didn't feel like it at the time, but that is what you can use, your light that you use to shine for other people, to lift them up, to help anchor them in their reality, to help anchor them into better mental health maybe. Yes, I feel very much that this pile 1 is for healers, for coaches, for people who are here to assist, to help, to be spiritual helpers, helper souls. Very powerful. This is beautiful. I want to say for you, do tend to yourself though. Do take care of yourself. Make sure you're not just falling into old habits or moving into coping patterns of helping other people just because that's how you feel safe. Okay. The purification here with the, sorry, I said pure spirit, didn't I? It says pine spirit. This is about pine trees. So there could be a connection here literally to pine and pine needles, and pine trees, pine essential oil. That does have a very specific use. There are things that are done with those in magic and also in herbal, in herbalism, in aromatherapy. So that might be something to look up, because that could be something that resonates for you at the moment, or you might just like the smell of pine. Maybe it's time to bring in some pine into your home just to enjoy that aroma. So see what resonates for you there. But it is, I want to say, take care of yourself, please. Take care of yourself. I feel like you've been through a lot, possibly more than most. So make sure you are tending to your own wounds first. There's certainly a need to put the self first here, and maybe to make that your plan for the future as well. On that number 30, I want to say consider what the future will look like and how you will put yourself first. Okay. So card or pile 2, we have your big heart here. That's a big heart. That's a big heart. Okay. So your cards, we have the Wood Nymph Beauty on 52.7. And we have Fear with the red dragon. Okay. All right. So big heart, but that heart could be empty. It could be there's a sense here of not feeling fulfilled, or maybe not feeling loved. And that could be you or somebody around you, but there's this sense of emptiness, I think. That's quite sad, actually. That is sad, because I sense this beautiful soul here, that this very loving person, and we've got a 7 here. This is a 52.7, so number 52 reduces to 7, and this is the 777 portal. So I feel like this one could hit you quite hard. Okay, this could really bring up some old issues, some old fears that maybe you thought you'd dealt with. You know, maybe you thought you'd left them in the past and it was a long time ago, and you're okay now and you've dealt with that. It feels like there could be a new layer coming up to be healed, coming up to shift for you. And I'm going to connect it to the moon cycles as well. So if you're a woman, it could connect to your actual hormonal cycle. Connected to blood, it could be connected to Hecate. This is some interesting energy here. I'm just kind of going into it energetically, but wounding, old wounding coming up for healing, but it's like one more time, that there's something to repeat here. This heart's getting away from me. Oh, that could be a theme. Your heart could literally be getting away from you. Maybe there's a lot of temptation around you. You know, you're not necessarily a woman as depicted on the card. Maybe temptation gets the better of you. You know, maybe you struggle with relationships or with romantic relationships. Even if you can make things look good on the outside, there's a lot going on underneath. There's a lot here. So I want to say, don't be afraid. Don't worry if what appears to be an old issue comes back up again, because it just feels like it's coming back to be cleared one last time, because there are always different layers and different levels when we do healing. It's not a case of, you know, one shot and we're cured, especially when it comes to our well-being, our mental health, our spiritual journey, our emotional health. You know, it's our emotional well-being, I would say. We're not machines. You know, it's not just, oh, well, I replaced that part, so it should be working now. No, it's not quite like that. There's definitely a need to take care of the physical body here as well, very much. I want to say with this card, but also with the red dragon, because that's the root chakra. There is a need to take care of the root chakra itself as well. So the themes that connect to the root chakra, so safety, well-being, where you live, having enough food, having a roof over your head. There could be some very, very basic fears coming up, even if they're unfounded, or they seem unfounded or illogical at this stage in your life. Or they may be perfectly logical. You know, you may be faced with not knowing where you're going to live, where money's going to come from. But I want to bring in the reassurance here, because in the main reading there was so much reassurance that everything's going to be okay, and I do believe it is for you, and you are a very loving person. So I want to say, don't do the wrong thing for the right reasons. And this could be staying in a relationship that isn't good for you, or it could be making a decision that seems like a survival decision. It may not be the right thing. Think carefully, look at all of the options, make sure that you're aware of everything and that something hasn't been hidden from you, or that there's not some knowledge, some information that you don't know. Seek out advice, seek out help, seek out assistance. Make sure you have all the information before you move forward, so that you can make sure you are genuinely taking care of yourself, because at this time all that glitters is not gold, but equally, just because it's not glittering doesn't mean it's not gold. Okay, and you notice this card is very much lit up by one of my lights up there. It's actually making this one shine. This one's got a golden glow to it, so there's a connection here to gold specifically as well, to the colour, or perhaps even to the metal. So let's move on to pile 3. Pile 3 with our little horsey, our running horse. We have Butterfly Spirit Transformation on number 8. And we have the Merlin. Oh, this is powerful. I feel like this connects strongly with some people who will have picked this card are actually quite spiritually evolved. This is, for me, that this is an energy of spiritual evolution, almost like the energy that's coming up right now at the 777 portal. It's kind of, you've been there, done that already. So I feel like you could be somebody who's very spiritually aware, very spiritually advanced, for want of a better word, because there's not a better word that I can think of. And that's not to boost your ego. That's you know, that's not to puff you up or anything. That's just a fact. That's just, maybe you are more aware of your spiritual abilities, your psychic abilities. Maybe you're very, very connected with higher levels. Your energy feels very evolved, I want to say, very ancient souls. And it's interesting looking at the shell with the pearl in it here, the clamshell, because I actually almost put out some candles today that looked like this. I hesitated before I put out the golden pillars, because I have some, I'll show you actually, I have some candles which I have prepared to do readings with, which actually look like that. I'm just going to show you one. Here's one. And at some point I will use them for a reading, but it's a candle, so that's fun. But I almost put them out, and that's curious. I felt that energy really strongly, and that's a very, very purple candle, so I want to bring in that purple energy there. I want to bring this very evolved, very high level spiritual energy. I want to say for you, work on your crown chakra at this time, because you're probably transforming more than you realise at the moment. That there's a lot more going on below the surface than you perhaps know in yourself. There are very wise old aspects of yourself that are kind of doing the work for you, so it may not feel like, on the surface there's a lot for you to do, and you may just feel really, really tired and fatigued and you're not sure why. So I feel like a lot of the work, the spiritual work for you, is going on behind the scenes. And with the horse, I want to bring in this energy. I love horses. It comes in with a great energy of wisdom, but also freedom here as well. And it's okay for you to change direction, I want to say, because the horse was actually facing this way. It's okay to change direction, even if it feels like in a concrete sense, it feels like you're going backwards in life. You're actually not. You're just moving up to another level. So it's okay. There's some reassurance that comes in here as well. And with number 8, I feel as well there could be an uptick in your finances, which could come with that change in direction. Even if part of you is like, why on earth am I doing this? This feels like I'm going... Logically, it appears like something going backwards on my spiritual path, but it's not. It's just another step forwards. Okay, you don't have to sit in a cave all day and meditate to be moving forwards with your spirituality. It doesn't matter. There are different people and experiences that we need to have, and they are mostly going to be very, very mundane in their nature. So yeah, keep moving forwards with your life. Keep changing and moving forwards. It could be chopping and changing for some people, but it's okay. You are going in the right direction. You definitely are, and there's a very powerful energy here. I'll also bring in Aphrodite here, because as we know, she was born from a beautiful shell. So there's a connection to Aphrodite here for some of you as well. The goddess of love, Venus, Aphrodite. Very, very beautiful, peaceful, loving energy there. So there could be a connection to that goddess. I feel, I want to say look at Venus in your astrological chart as well, see what she's up to at the moment, because there's this sort of astrology feel with all the stars on here and the astrologer's stone here right next to the card. So you are growing, you are. Spiritually, things are going in the right direction, even if your conscious mind thinks that logically, because it doesn't know anything, because it can only work with logic, it looks at it and goes, oh, well, logically, that can't be taking me in a spiritual direction. But it can. It can. So let's move on to pile 4 with our anchor. So we have this anchor with the rope. So this is a bit bigger than the other one as well. It does feel heavier. It looks a little bit more ornate as well. We've got the rope on here. So we have fire spirit energy on number 17-8, and we have bliss. But look at these gorgeous golden fiery colours. Wow. I do feel like the anchor here is actually to help anchor you into this reality. I feel like you may be flying off a little bit energetically, spiritually. You might be, and that happens on our spiritual journey. It's okay. I've been through times where I was doing loads of spiritual work, lots of meditation, and people are like, oh, you must meditate all the time. And I'm like, well, actually, no, because I can end up in, spending too much time up there. I have to be reminded to come back down. And I want to give that reminder to you. It may be that you have to come down once in a while. Yes, it's great to work with the more subtle energies, the more subtle world, but we're also here to interact with this 3D world as well. That's kind of the point of us coming here, otherwise there was no point. We can interact with the higher energies from where we came from. But we are here to work with the elements specifically. So the fire element comes through very strongly for you here. So you could actually be a fire sign, or there could be some important fire in your chart. But it's a very loving energy here as well with the bliss card. This is lovely. I think the 777 portal could really bring new levels of joy, new levels of bliss for you. It's very warming, and again, it's this gold energy that I was talking about, this golden energy. 17, so 17 is the star, 17 is, again, it's another 7, so it's the mystic, the wisdom, being led by your wisdom, being led by your higher aspects of self, your intuition, your inner sun, your inner star, okay? That's very much your theme for the 777 portal, and I want to bring in grounding. And if you look at the fire spirit, her lower half is a tree. So she knows that to work with these higher energies, these lightning bolts that she's bringing down to the element of fire, she knows she has to be grounded. And that's what I want to say to you. It could be that you actually need to do some grounding work, some grounding exercises. Okay. There are lots of ways to ground. The simplest one is drinking a glass of water, having something to eat. Okay, when we do a lot of spiritual work, healing work, energy work, it can be really easy to forget to eat. So I want to tell you, make sure you're eating and drinking correctly, enough, frequently enough, the right amount. Okay, fasting is great. There's a time and a place for it, but don't do it all the time. Okay, I want to caution against excesses of moving into the spiritual energy, thinking that's the best thing to do, because it's lovely to be in there, but we have to take care of the physical body too. We must take care of the body temple as well, because our first temple is the physical body, so please take care of it. Yeah. This dark woodland is very mysterious energy around you. I think you're quite a mysterious person. That's very, very interesting energy, but so loving and so golden as well. So yes, enjoy the spiritual energy that is around you, that you work in, that you exist in at this time, that I think you will encounter more around 777. But remember to stay grounded. Remember to stay anchored in this reality, because you are here to work and live in this reality. By all means, bring in the energies, but anchor them here so that you can keep them here and continue to work with them moving forwards. Okay. So pile 5 with our 2 hearts entwined. Our cards here, we have the Wild Rose Fairy, Love, on 47. Now that is interesting. And the Water Chalice, oh my. And the Entwined Hearts. Wow, what can I say other than all the feels? All the feels for you, pile 5. Okay, love, romance. Ooh, relationships, it's all emotions, very, very much highlighted here. The Water Chalice is the sacred element of water, and it is emotion. It's the divine feminine as well. So there's, wow, there is a strong connection to the land and ley lines here as well. So you may be guided to go and visit some sacred sites at this time on 7/7 or around 7/7. But it's so emotional. And with the Rose Fairy, the Wild Rose Fairy coming in with the love energy as well. Wow, that's a big deal. I want to say things going on in your romantic life here. Maybe, it doesn't matter if you have a partner or not. I feel like there's a lot going on with you around your heart chakra, your higher heart chakra. Perhaps it's experiencing higher levels of love, spiritual love, or feeling, sensing a soulmate, even if they haven't shown up yet. You may be feeling those wonderful romantic loving feelings, or you may have your eye on someone as well. And with the 47, it does feel like you are in a very strong place to manifest, particularly through your emotions, because they are very powerful. You're somebody that has very, very strong emotions, very powerful emotions. You're probably an empath. You probably feel everything and everybody else's stuff, which is so hard sometimes. But because of that, it means that you have this amazing ability to bring things into reality, to manifest things into reality once you get a handle on those difficult emotions, once you learn to work with them, to swim in that ocean and to not have it drown you, to flood you. So romantic relationships are highlighted for you here. There is something to learn. There is a beautiful energy. I'm not going to say it's good or bad, because objectively there is no such thing. Okay, and obviously this is a group reading. It is interesting though. I do see you being able to bring your spirituality more into the everyday, more into the 3D. So I feel you're somebody that is able to bring spiritual energy into the everyday. So working with the mundane and arcane aspects together. Maybe you bring it into your everyday work life. Maybe you go to the office and you've got like a little altar on your desk or something. I don't know, but it feels like you're somebody who's good at combining those two things. Maybe you make it more accessible to normal people, for want of a better word. Yeah, you are one of those magical people that shows up in people's lives. Very beautiful energy, and there's this beautiful love coming for you as well, whether it's from another person or just you feeling that blissful higher energy of love around the 7/7 portal. It's very, very beautiful, very beautiful. But I do think relationships are going to be a part of it because of this hearts entwined. Romance is going to be a theme for 7/7 for you for sure. Just want to pull one of these for you actually as well. Soulmate Soul Contract 22. Okay, so that's good. This card actually reflects in many ways both of those cards, the love card and the water chalice. 22 being all the feels. It's also the feet of the goddess, 22-4. It's a very divine feminine energy, soulmate soul contract. So the subject matter of soulmates and soul contracts I think is going to be an important one, whether there's somebody in your life or not at this time. So I hope that was really helpful for you. Thank you so much for joining me here. Please remember to like this video, please leave a comment, and remember to be nice to each other and to me in the comments section. I love to hear from you. Please remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you very soon. Take very good care of yourselves and have a beautiful golden 777. Bye-bye.